This conversation in itself continues to inspire me, and when I think of the spirit that I want to have going into my work as an artist, authenticity, purpose, integrity, you're a true example of how all of the goodness comes to you. So thank you for the day.
Thank you.
I'm grateful.
Thank you for being intentional.
For real,
yeah.
For real. You're the best.
Thank you.
So you're an icon to me, to so many others. There are so many moments throughout our culture, music history, Black history, film history, that has meant so much to us. And this is such a pleasure to me because I always have moments where thinking about myself growing up in Wiggins, Mississippi, watching these movies or watching these videos and dreaming, right? The idea that I get to walk in a space and operate in a world now where I get to have these conversations with folks that have imprinted me in my childhood and growing up. So this is really, really, really special to me.
I have goosebumps.
So thank you.
I know the full circle moment. I know that experience of what it was like to kind of have this aha moment of just knowing that you belong someplace.
Exactly.
You're just waiting for that, like, you know, just to jump off the turnstile.
Exactly. And when you don't see it around you, you know, it's really special today.
But once you get a taste of it, it's like
no turning back.
Yeah, no turning back. The palette is forever changed.
That really is what excites me also about this conversation, because not only full circle for me with PUMA, but us sitting in this space, you being the creative director of Women's Hoops, and the vision that not only you have, but, you know, as you said in Vogue, like, you had to figure out who that customer was.
Yeah.
And so what were your goals and visions coming in as creative director?
You know, I've been saying this a lot lately, that I had to use my AI, tap into my AI, my authentic intelligence. And I think that's what it's really important to understand. Authenticity is key, and it really holds value. And in the midst of all of the smoke screens and all of the marketing and, you know, different kinds of messaging, being authentic was super important. Being authentic and true to who that woman wants to become when she puts on the clothes, being authentic to the basketball players that we were, you know, that I was paying homage to and celebrating, because that's what this collection is about. Women athletes in the sport, celebrating their contributions, but also the women who look at life as if it's a sport as well. And I see life as a sport, you know, I see style as a sport, and it's so much about what we do every day. This collection really, it speaks to that. It's for that woman who is on the move. It's for that woman who wants to be iconic. She wants to be bold, she's fearless. All of those words are DNA, you know, touch points. For cut lines, for color, you know, for patterns, and I thought about that woman in every single way.
You bring up things that you sort of can't buy. You can't buy authenticity, you can't buy integrity.
Oh, I love that.
This is not something new to you, right? And it's like you brought it to the brand.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that, because, you know, I really wanted to go back and say, I wanted to really bring style to sport. And that was my goal coming in, is how do I have people look at PUMA and not just like performance, really cool, authentic, classic go-to. The brand is so, so good and rooted in performance and rooted in this space. And I really wanted to approach it from a style perspective. When you think about athletic wear coming out of the pandemic, it is so much more socially acceptable to be not just wearing something for performance, but also for lifestyle. And I really wanted to amplify that conversation, because I don't think it's going anywhere. And I really wanted to create this style by design approach. So if you don't feel that you have the courage, or you're like, oh, I'm not naturally stylish, which I don't believe. I think everyone really possesses style qualities, because to me, style is a voice. It's not just about how you look, but how you speak, how you smell, you know, how you treat others. That's part of being stylish. Yeah,
I love that style as a voice, right? Because I think so many people want to speak up, they want to speak out, but everybody's like, you know, I'm not that much of a public speaker, but I have things I want to say in so many other ways,
I'm
right?
I'm passionate about certain
things, right? And I think about after George Floyd was killed, and people were saying, I want to say something, I don't know what I should say, but I can put something on, right? And we saw a lot of athletes, particularly women basketball players, not only the Black Lives Matter movement bring so much to the forefront from them as Black folks, but I think women, for you to be designing for that type of woman, what does that mean for you?
It's a beautiful thing when I think fashion is a very universal conversation. It's like multi-language. It's all led up into interpretation, right? And you know, fashion is mute without style. And the way stylistically that those players and those people that don't feel like they had the license to speak about political issues or social justice issues use that as the common denominator. And you know, either you're being really bold and brazen with the, you know, with the statement, or you're being kind of somewhat subtle but strong.
Right.
And I think that we will continue to see women express themselves using fashion to, you know, express how they feel. They are the new billboards.
Yeah.
We're our own muses, you know, and we recognize how powerful we can be, and we have to utilize every space to get the message across.
People see your work on other people, and they see your vision, even through collaboration with other folks, you know. But I'm always fascinated by the person. You go home to two beautiful Black kids, and you get to use your platform and voice to speak on these issues in ways that other folks don't. What do you say to your kids, raising kids in this environment, on how they are even able to use their voice to, you know, speak up and speak out?
When we first introduced them to social media, discovered social media, we made it very clear, and I say we because I do this job with, you know, their father and my partner, and it's important that, you know, that we are very transparent about the responsibilities of social activism, your social platforms. You are the editor at large of this, and this will live with you forever. So what side of history do you want to be on? Always. So, you know, they understood how much of a responsibility being on social media was from a very young age. When I look at my personal career, I have to decide, you know, how do I want my kids to see me? How do I want them to remember me? And what side of history do I want to be on? And when you're a public figure, you do it at the risk of alienating some naysayers who don't feel the same way. But at the end of the day, you know, you have to come home and look at yourself in the mirror. You have to face your family, and you have to know that you did something that was not about popularity, but it was about what was right. I know what it feels like to be not seen or discriminated against or mistreated because of, you know, the color of my skin or the gender that I am. So as a family, it starts at home.
Yeah.
And I think that it was helpful for all of us to talk about it. I've built my career on the backs of people that look just like me. And I pay complete tribute and homage and dedicate, you know, the hard work to them for trusting in me, for allowing me to collaborate with them, and knowing the impact that it's had on not just the particular genre of music, but culturally. It was a culture shifter, you know, the things that we did, the risks that we took, the statements that we made unapologetically without asking for permission. So I know what it's like to kind of, you know, hold your own, be steady, and adjust the sail and everything. But I think just, again, understanding your superpower, you know, and especially as a woman, like I recognize how powerful we are as women from a very young age. It was like, you know, my mom, who I would say is the biggest inspiration in my life.
Yeah.
Her relentlessness, her ability to commit to the job outside of just caring and being a mother, but just also allowing me to be, you know, takes a lot of restraint. I was raised in a single parent home, and I never heard my mother complain. So hard work is something that I'm definitely not afraid of.
Yeah.
And I'm always thinking about, from the inception of my career, how do I want to live my life?
Yeah.
And I want to be intentional in everything I do. And I also want to create an opportunity for others. You know, that to me is so important, so that other people along the way can be greater and better.
Yeah.
I want to leave it better than the way I came into it.
I was raised by a single mom as well, and I realize now how difficult it was to raise two kids, a boy and a girl. I think what the common denominator of single moms and strong Black women, for sure, is they did the best job they knew how to do with the tools they had. And once I began to realize that, it was like, okay, I have no excuse.
Right.
I have no excuse.
Right, you can't complain.
You know, I can't complain.
You can't complain.
I want to go down your career a little bit with some of my favorite moments.
Okay.
I think I have an iPad somewhere.
Oh, this should be fun.
This is going to be fun. So I have a few favorite moments of mine, and when I show it to you, I would love a little story if you have one.
Okay.
But what I would really love to know is, what did you learn from working with that person?
Okay.
And how they may inspire you. To your point that you've made in other interviews, it's always a collaboration, so you can put it on the person, but they have to wear the courage, the integrity, the authenticity. They have to have that in them.
Yeah.
So I have a few things that I want to show you.
Okay.
The iconic Missy Elliott. This video was crazy.
I think I'll talk about this video until this may be talked about at my funeral.
This suit was crazy. I've done this for Halloween before.
Oh my God, I know, it was so good, it was so good. This was the first time I was working with Missy on this video. So the fact that she was so gracious to take on the director Hype Williams and I's ideas was like Christmas to us, because you know, the ideas were young girl from Virginia, and here we are telling her, we're gonna put you in a big blow-up suit, which everyone called a garbage bag for years. Drove me nuts, because I was like, it was not plastic, it was vinyl, and it was expensive.
Right.
You know, so it was like the fact that I still read to this day, plastic garbage bag, it's like, but it was like a couture piece. This thing was not easy to assemble. It was like, you know.
Don't try to buy that at CVS.
Yeah, like it was, you know, because you couldn't sew it, it had to all be, you know, made like an inner tube. But what I learned from this experience was just, you know, that it's okay to be different. And I've always known that, but it's like the concept and the idea of really playing off of something that could be a call out. Because if you remember at the time, women in hip hop were being objectified.
Yeah.
We weren't playing up her sexuality physically.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we were playing it up in the lyrical content. But every move Missy made in the suit was so provocative.
Yeah.
And we redefined sexy. So I'm saying it's okay to be different. And if the wave is, this is what the norm is, it's okay to go the other way.
Yeah.
I tell this story all the time, how we took her to the gas station, we blew her up. I mean, it was just like, everything about it was like, we were just having a ball.
Yeah.
You know, and what I was notoriously known for was taking sportswear and redesigning it with luxury fabrics. So again, the idea of having my career come full circle, where I'm working with an athletic brand and bringing the luxury kind of mentality to the conversation, kind of speaks to what I was doing from the inception of my career.
I love that. So this was fun.
This was fun.
And this video is hands down.
This was fun.
One of the best of all time.
Thank you.
All right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is also iconic.
Yeah.
You know, these shiny suits. I was like, well, that's dope. Yeah. And then, you know, that's what you dress up like this for Easter.
Yeah. You know, Sean Combs, Puffy, Diddy, Mr. Love. It's the first time I was working with him. And again, these first impressions that I was making, you know, sometimes you have to fight. And, you know, it was just one of those things that I just said, if this doesn't work out, you don't have to ever work with me again. I felt that strong about it. I said, if this is not a life-changing moment, I was forced to make two of these suits. There's a leather matte one, and it was what I wanted, and what Hype wanted, and what the DP wanted. And you know, we shot both. But when he saw this on camera, and he's such a, you know, he's really an amazing creative genius, and he knows, he's very intuitive, and he knows fashion. He knew at that moment that I was right, and
well, it had to work out.
I think we've been friends since that.
It had to work out, because this was
we reunited, and it feels so good.
And it feels so good, just not too long ago, right?
That's crazy.
And then even just see, I was looking at some behind the scenes from the shoot, and to observe you all, and me and my peers observing you all. It's like, those are the type of relationships that we want to build every day in the work that we get to do, and then go and do it and have fun with it.
And you know, we've all grown so much to come full circle and have this moment with him. It was like great, because it was like we had to practice restraint. We had tons of jewelry. We had stuff. Tons and tons of stuff. And as iconic as he is, it was all about restraint.
Yeah.
And I just said, we don't have to do a whole lot today.
Yeah.
Let them see you.
And to speak of another brother of yours, and also, you know, conversations that you had with him that even brought you to this moment with PUMA.
Oh.
Which is this is like
I always get
guys, June.
Yeah.
Guys,
again, right? I remember being in the car, like I'm always like the only girl that's like rolling.
But what I love about it, we've seen so many different sides of him. Yeah. And again, like he has his own swagger that he brings into every room.
Unmatched.
But it's like this. Seeing him at the brunch in a mauve suit, it's like it ain't pink, it's mauve,
like
bro. It's mauve, bro. That's amazing. So like another long-term relationship. Yeah. What have you learned? How are you constantly inspired to create?
You know, Jay is probably. I mean, if you can have anyone as a mentor, if you can mirror anyone's like business act from the inception of his career, I was always like I worked with him before he was an artist. With his record label, so I watched him build a business. Yeah. So, you know, that in itself was inspiring to see this man build his empire and watching him become a dad and a husband and all of these kind of things have been just such a beautiful privilege and honor. You just learn from being in the room. Yeah. It's just his presence, his graciousness, his say less kind of, you know, approach. And it's not what you say, it's what you do. Yeah. He's truly a man of action. I mean, he's a wordsmith, to say the least, as you can see from his lyrical content. And he pays attention to detail. And I really admire that, and I'm constantly doing the same. And he's always saying, don't compromise, don't compromise. That's really the key. Yeah. If you believe in something, you know it's right, he was like, don't compromise, fight for it. So sometimes I use that when we're in fittings. I'm gonna fight for it, because I know.
Love that.
And that to me is a beautiful lesson that you can always give to anyone. Just give them the space to be creative also, respect, mutual respect in what they contribute to the process. Yeah. And I think that's, you know, most important.
There was something super fun that I saw and that I love. And I knew the song, but I never had saw the video.
Oh God.
Which I love. It's so fun.
Oh my God, I think you got me on this.
It's so fun.
Oh! Where did you dig this up?
Come on, video. Come on,
First of all, it was my birthday.
It was your birthday.
And we were like literally celebrating. I think her girlfriends didn't show up or something. I was not like her chosen girlfriend. We're like, you know, me and Mary, we get on. And the director was like, well, why can't June just be her friend or whatever? I was already in the room being June. Right. And, you know, I'm such a ham.
I dancing.
I was like, oh, no, I can't do this, I can't do this. Sure.
Right, exactly right.
It was a night to remember. So I said, this makes great sense in context, because I was in a celebratory moment. I don't know, we just had so much fun.
It's also like one of those take your moment.
Mary's the best kind of friend, because she lets her girlfriends who are like over the top and extra just be themselves.
I love it.
That's how she was with me. She's like, and she's a huge star. And she's so not intimidated, you know, by sharing the moment or the space.
Exactly.
She's so confident and like, I gotta love myself to Mary J. Blige.
So this is called Is Anyone Listening?
Okay.
What is one thing that you hope that the world should be listening to right now in this moment?
Oh God. Women.
That's true. That's true. Women.
I mean, we bring life into the world.
For sure.
I gotta say, you know, that voice, that inner trusting ourselves. Yeah. I just feel like, you know, whether you're a spiritual being or not, I do feel like the soul takes over so many times in our lives to just kind of tap into your inner self, trust yourself a little bit more, trust your gut, your instincts, let your soul guide you. Pay attention to those little whispers. I think that we all have angels around us that guide us daily. So
for sure.
Don't be afraid of and some people might say that's a little, you know, a little scary, but don't be afraid of, like, you know, and whether you can equate that voice to someone who's no longer with you or just that person that lives inside of you, I say trust that person a little bit more.
I love that. When I think of you, and obviously I've observed your work, and we've been able to have conversations over the last few years. And this conversation in itself continues to inspire me. And when I think of the spirit that I want to have going into my work as an artist, I want to be like that. Authenticity, purpose, integrity, courage. You're a true example of how all of the goodness comes to you, and not just the professional goodness and the career goodness, but the goodness of humanity. Yeah. And so thank you for the day.
Thank you.
I'm grateful.
Thank you for being intentional.
For real.
Yeah.
For real. You're the best.
Thank you.